Hi everyone, welcome back to Women's Yoga with JD. Today we have a really nice grounding restorative practice for the winter season during our inner season of winter, or menstruation as well. So if you're new to this practice here, we align our yoga practices with the inner and outer seasons. So our inner seasons, there's 4 just like the outer seasons. Our follicular phase, which is our inner spring, ovulation, which is our inner summer, luteal phase, which is our inner fall or autumn, and then the menstruation phase represents winter. And this class is coming to you during the winter season, so it's kind of nice when we can have a winter practice inside and out when they align in that way. So the winter season, internally, externally, is all about turning inward, grounding, getting still, spending more time in solitude or in stillness, and slowing down in a big way, which can be a big challenge in the world that we live in. So may this practice help you ease into that. May it help you learn that being still is safe. You don't always have to be going and doing, that you're enough just as you are, right here, sitting, breathing, being alive in this way. So we're going to do a few restorative practices today, but less is more in the winter. So I was almost just going to lead you through a long Savasana, and if that's what your body's feeling today, go ahead and take it. Otherwise, if a pose that we come into is feeling particularly good and releasing in the body, feel free to stay there for longer or for the whole duration of the practice. These poses are just a guideline to help you tune into the way that your body wants to move, to become more embodied, and then to honor that, whatever that looks like for you today. So go ahead and set your space. Grab a couple of blocks or books if you don't have blocks. A bolster is a really nice thing to have, but if you don't have it, grab a bigger blanket or towel that you can roll up to make it nice and thick. A strap will be handy today, so if you don't have that, grab a belt. And a blanket, pillows, just think cushy and cozy and whatever is going to feel good in your body today. So go ahead and grab what you have, set your space, and then meet me here on the mat for our practice together. Okay, so we're going to start nice and slow today, and I'm thinking really nourishing ourselves, really feeding ourselves. So find a seated position that feels comfortable in your body right now. Maybe you want to put some blocks under your knees or sit up on a blanket. We're going to bring the feet apart and just start by rubbing the bottoms of the feet. So we've got so many pressure points on the bottoms of our feet that connect to every organ in the body, that connect to the mind, connect to digestion. So giving ourselves some love in the feet can be really helpful and restorative. And if you'd like to spruce it up a little bit, you can add your favorite lotion or oil. Nothing too slippery though, although we're not going to be on our feet much today, so don't worry about that too much. And if you want to grab your favorite essential oil, so my favorite one for this inner season of menstruation on the bottoms of the feet is Balance by doTERRA. But if you have any tree resins, so like frankincense or copaiba or cedar wood or fir, they're also great, really grounding. So whatever you have, just grabbing a drop, and if you don't have anything, that's okay. Rubbing the hands together, taking a nice deep breath, and then placing them on the feet. Rub into the heels. Again, just finding a rhythm that feels good in the body. What does it mean? What does it look like for you to show some love to your body today? Just making sure each toe gets touched, feeling the spaces between the toes. And I know I feel it right on the arch here most of the time, and it's pretty close to the point for the adrenals, so that doesn't surprise me. And so if you've been feeling extra stressed or overwhelmed, go ahead and press in and around that arch. just pausing, placing the hands lovingly on the feet and taking a couple of deep breaths. We'll come into our first restorative pose, which is going to be reclining butterfly pose. So placing the bolster behind you if you have it, otherwise a rolled up blanket or pillow. If you want to place the blocks under the knees, you absolutely can to hold them up. And then grabbing your strap, your belt, whatever you've got available, and bringing it over the torso so it's in a loop. And then it's not going to go over the knees, but it's going to come under the feet, so under the bottoms of the feet. Just make sure that the ring, if you are using a strap, isn't on the feet, because that'll get sore after a while. And you can tighten the strap, so the back of the strap is right at the low back, right at the sacrum. And then we're slowly going to recline. So the strap just really stabilizes the lower body, so we can really begin to open the hips. And the bolster is a nice add for grounding. So we can feel our back body pressed firmly into something, knowing that we're stable, that we're safe to open up. And if you'd like to, if you have your hair up, you can take your hair down and take a moment just to massage your scalp. If you'd rather just lay still with the arms down, that's perfectly fine. Just giving yourself some loving, safe touch. Good, and then you can let the arms float down and just tune into the breath. Letting the shoulders drop down, the jaw soften. Everything getting heavy and melty. Deeper into the breath, deeper into the body, deeper into the mind. Just becoming aware of and saying hello to what's present for you. And then blinking the eyes open if you had them closed. And using the arms to lift ourselves up. Let's not put any undue stress onto the abdomen. So really using the strength of the arms and the rest of the body so that the abs don't have to work right now. And releasing the strap. And then I'm going to bring the bolster out in front of me for our next pose. And I'm going to lift it up a little bit by placing a block underneath the front of it. So I just have an incline here. So you can place a pillow underneath a rolled blanket or towel. And then I'm going to come into a child's pose. So taking the knees nice and wide apart, and then extending your torso onto the bolster. Now if this doesn't work for the legs, you can try taking them a little wider if that's better, or you can extend the legs out in front of you and just fold over the bolster this way. So it'll be a little bit of a different stretch, but that's okay. So coming into whatever feels best in your body today and taking your time and settling in. And once you've found some steadiness in the pose, just notice if you have any residual tension hanging out in the body. Notice if the shoulders could relax a little more, the muscles of the face, the hips, the glutes. Just allowing the body to melt. And then if you'd like to, you can gently lift your head and turn it the opposite way. As you're ready, placing the hands and lifting yourself up. And sitting off to the side to allow your legs to extend out in front of you. And maybe you rub the knees a little bit if they're feeling a little tender after that pose. Good. And so the next pose we're going to come into is a restorative Shasana. So bringing the left foot in to the inside of the right thigh or close to it. They don't have to touch. And then if you'd like to, you can place the bolster along the right leg. And we're going to place the hands down and extend over the bolster into Shasana. So just finding what feels comfortable in your body. And again, if moving into different poses isn't feeling good for you today, feel free to stay. Stay in the pose that feels best. Or just take a Savasana. Back near you, lifting your torso up, and we'll switch to the other leg. So extending the left leg straight out in front of you, putting the bolster on that leg. Bending the right knee. Maybe the foot touches the left inner thigh, maybe not. It's perfectly fine. And then extending over the left leg, over the bolster, turning your head whichever way feels most comfortable. If your head doesn't fully reach, you can always place another pillow or a block underneath the head. So this practice really isn't about depth. It's not about seeing how deep we can go into the poses. It's about releasing and surrendering. How comfortable can you make yourself? Can you make the physical body so still and so comfortable that you can access what's going on mentally, what's going on emotionally for you? And then creating the space to be with whatever arises. Slowly walking the hands back toward you to lift yourself up. So we're going to come into Triangle Mukha Pada Ekapada Paschimottanasana. and that's a long name, which just means that we're going to have one leg bent like this. So almost like coming into Virasana, but just with one leg. And then we're going to have one leg extended forward, and we're going to lean over the extended leg. That's it. And you can also place something under the knee for greater support. You can take the leg a little bit wider for a little more opening in the hip, and if it's too much on the knee. So ideally we're close like this, but that's not always possible. That's not always accessible in our bodies, so finding what feels good in your body today. And I'm just going to start with the right leg extended this time, since I'm already here. And then leaning over the right leg. You might have to walk the hands out a little bit wider just to find some balance in this pose. Because the left sit bone, it may not be all the way down on the mat, and that's perfectly fine. Anytime you feel to, you can sigh out through the mouth, just releasing any tension, any irritation, any feelings of overwhelm. When our mind's tendency is to grasp and cling to control and certainty, this is the counterbalance to that. We'll walk the hands back toward us. And we'll switch to the other side. If you need to shake that leg out, go ahead. Before I set the bolster, just bending this right knee now and spreading the toes. And one side might feel completely different than the other. My right knee feels completely different than my left. It's a lot tighter. So I'm taking it just a little wider. And I'm taking my heel just a little bit further away from my glute on the right side. I'm going to extend the bolster and same, coming over and resting. And please don't force your body into any positions that it doesn't want to come into today. So if it feels better just to come into that reclining butterfly or the child's pose, feel free to come back to those positions. This is really just about giving your body the time and the space to talk to you, to let you know what it needs, to help you understand your true base level energy. Once all the rushing around and thinking has slowed down. Slowly walking your hands back towards you, rolling through the spine. Now we're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So just placing the bolster or whatever you have at the center, and taking our legs a little bit wider. They don't have to come into a full split at all. Just letting the bolster come right up to the pelvis. Taking a nice deep inhale as you lengthen through the spine, and exhale, walk forward. You can really let the legs relax, let the feet relax here. The arms can be forward like this, or you can move them back toward you if that feels better. If you'd like more pressure at the abdomen, feel free to place a rolled up blanket or towel right underneath the abdomen. And then if you're laying one way, go ahead and switch the head, the gaze to the opposite direction. Walking the hands back toward you, rolling up slowly if you're ready. We'll extend the legs out in front of us. Feel free to wiggle or shake them out a little bit. And one more forward folding pose. So we're coming into Paschimottanasana, just a straight leg forward fold. You can place the bolster the long way if that feels good for you. I'm going to keep it on the shins. I'm going to add the rolled blanket just to bring it a little closer to my forehead so I don't have to stretch so far. So taking an inhale wherever you are, lengthening through the spine and then folding forward. Tapping into your inner world. Letting the belly be soft, your mind be soft. As you're ready, you can slowly roll yourself back upright. We'll come into one more pose before Savasana. So this one I don't think we've done together yet in our previous classes, but it is a modified version of the Parita Dandasana, and it's really nice for opening up the front body and opening up the pelvis without coming into an inversion. So we're going to have the blocks or a stack of something, whatever you have, books that you can lay your legs out on. And we're actually going to sit up on, and I've doubled up here. It can be helpful to double up because we're going to let the back hang off of the front of the bolster. So I've placed a blanket on top. Go ahead and do that if you have enough blankets and pillows to make that possible. You're going to extend your legs onto the blocks here, or books. And then we're lying back, and right at about where your bra line is, that's where your back is going to hang off. So just right underneath the tips of the shoulder blades. Yeah, and then just settle into that. Maybe walk the shoulders down, away from the ears. If you need to situate your head at all, go ahead. And just breathing here. pelvis take up space. Just a couple more breaths here. If you'd like to stay here, that's more than okay. If you're going to come out of the pose, walk the feet down from the blocks, and then slowly, carefully roll to your right side. It's a little bit of a drop, and then come back up to seated. We're going to set up for Savasana, so if you would like to take the reclined butterfly pose again, feel free to do that. If you'd like to take legs up the wall, that's a great pose for restoration as well. I am actually going to keep with the winter season and just really provide support for my lower back. So I'm going to have the bolster underneath my knees, and then I'm going to cover myself with the blanket. And this is a great time to put on sweaters and socks if you're feeling cold. I didn't wear socks today because my body was feeling a little bit heated, which can happen during menstruation. So just finding the temperature that feels good in your body right now. And then reclining back, again, not using the abdomen, as best as you can. And just allow your body to settle into this shape. And in these first couple of breaths, just resolve to let go. Let go of the practice. Let go of the shapes that your body took today or didn't take. Let go of the external world and everything that's swirling outside of this moment. Come back to this breath. Bringing your attention to the crown of the head, holding in your awareness the head, the face, the upper neck. And soft restful state. Let's bring the palms together, rubbing them vigorously together, creating some heat. And then feeling that tingling, buzzing glow, and place it wherever your body needs it most right now. I'm going to place it at the pelvis, at the womb space, and send it deep into the kidneys. The kidneys are the organ of focus for the winter season. So sending the kidneys some love, some life force. Supporting our water balance and energetically supporting us in releasing fear. And stay here until you feel filled up. And seeing if you can remain completely relaxed, completely open as you begin to move, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, taking gentle stretches in a way that feels good in your body. And then gently rolling to your right side. Carefully coming off of the bolster if you're on one. And finding your way to a seated position on your mat. And just taking a moment here, placing one hand over the heart and one hand at the low belly. And really just honoring all of you. Honoring the body, honoring the mind, honoring the emotions and sensations moving through. Letting it be okay. And often it is in these deep moments of restfulness that our wisdom shines through brightest. So feel free to take a few moments here just to tune into your wisdom self. Ask if it has any messages that want to come through. And with a grateful heart, let's gently bow. Bowing in honor of ourselves, in honor of showing up for this practice of embodiment and intuition. And bowing to being with all that is. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. If you have any questions about the phases of the menstrual cycle, of how to align your yoga practice with it, please leave it in the comments below, or you can reach out to me personally via email, which I will leave in the comments below. And if you have any requests for classes that you'd love to see in the future, please send them my way. My hope is to keep supporting you in embodying the feminine, in embodying a counterbalance to the rushed and hectic pace of most of our lives. So may this practice be of highest support to your well-being and thriving. Thank you again.